I don't know who need to hear this here, but I ain't got no sympathy for you, nigga. I ain't got no sympathy for you at all, nigga, cause you done laid on that bump, nigga. You done wore them shackles, nigga. You know how I feel to be wrote off, man. Nigga, hug your motherfucking self, nigga, and get up. Get up, nigga. Don't nobody owe you nothing. The world don't owe you nothing, nigga. If anything, they gonna open that motherfucker and kick you back in that pit of hell, nigga. You better tighten up, my nigga, and realize, my nigga. I don't know who need to hear this.
What's up, YouTube? We back. We are back. Today's video, we're gonna dive into a little bit about myself. You know, I came up in the crack era. I came up when the time where the world just changed overnight. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood called Mellowville on the east inside of East Tampa, northeast Tampa. It was a neighborhood basically of single family homes. Most of the people lived in that neighborhood had a mother and a father. You know, it was during that time when families were somewhat together. And I can remember like yesterday when crack first, came and took over our neighborhood, took over the city, took over the nation. Let me say it like that. Because it just wasn't my neighborhood, it just wasn't my city. It was everywhere. The same thing was going on. Everybody was experiencing the same type of trauma from this drug epidemic that we all had no idea how it would affect us on so many different levels. From the addiction aspect of it, breaking up the family homes, going to prison, crime, just a lot of stuff went along with that. But me, I've got first introduced to crack cocaine at about 12 years old. I knew it was going on before that, but I can vividly remember me walking down the hallway at Sly Junior High. Sly Junior High was a school that we used to walk to. No, we rode the bus, but you could walk to. It wasn't that far away where if you want to walk to school, you could. If you want to ride the bus, you could. But I can vividly remember walking down the hallway doing the shift change, doing the class change, basically. And a partner of mine, we call him Tatum. He walked up on the side of him. He said, "Man, Cal, I'm finna leave, man. I'm finna go make me some money." I said, "How you finna do that?" So he pulled out his hand. He put out a pill jar. And he opened it up and he pulled it out in his hand. He pulled out 5 20 rocks. And he said, "Each one of these $100. He said, "I had these going by lunchtime." And I was like, "Damn, you finna make $100 like that?" Because at the time, the only hustle we had in school was selling candy. We were selling fake oregano, shit like that in school. That's what we were doing to make money. We'll get oregano. You may get a little reefer and get some oregano and mix it together, and then you sell it to the white boys in school for reefer. $5 here, $10 here. You sell a little, making little hands transactions in school. This is what was going on back then.
But your mother don't know you be selling this. It's only weed. All this time I'm thinking one of them church-going McCullers. You got some street in you. Look, I'm just doing this to get some money together before I go to college. That's all. How much I owe you? Nothing.
And this in the 80s, it's like 86. So, I remember that same day now. I remember during lunchtime, I was looking for Tatum. I was looking for him. I normally see him, out there in the patio area. And I didn't see him. He was gone. So I was like, damn, he really left. And that right there stuck in my head that he really left and he wouldn't go make him $100. But once again, I still ain't thinking about selling drugs at the time. I'm more, chasing girls and, just hanging out, just being young, So I can remember it was on a weekend. He came back around by the house. And he said, hey, man, what's up? You want to go make some money? He said, you only need $20. Now, at the time, I hadn't been seeing drugs being sold in the neighborhood. I see guys that, just a little bit older than me, and I kind of see they making money now. They selling drugs. You know what's going on. They getting cars. They getting new stuff. They got clothes. But I'm one of the youngest guys in the hood still. And like I said, I'm only in the 7th grade. So Tater come around there. I'll go borrow $20 from my mama. I tell my mom, let me borrow $20. I want to go to the store. So she give me $20. I take the $20. We go up top, up there on 40th Street, and I buy a juggling dub. So for y'all don't know, a juggling dub back then was a 20 that you can spend for $20. You try to find somebody that have jugglers. Jugglers is something that you can make money off of. So I spent $20. I got a juggling dub, and I was able to bust the juggling dub down the middle and make $40. 20. I got two 20s. At least I'm gonna make it 30 or 35. So anyway, I got a juggling dub, and that was my introduction into selling crack. It only took $20, and I made $40. Now it took me all day to make the $40. Because once I got the dope, Tater showed me how to bust it down the middle. And then just when we did that, a car pulled up and I made a sale to somebody in the car and I got $20. And I already got my money back. Now I just got this one piece. Now check this out. The juggling dub I bought, come to find out by the end of the day, I realized that I bought some fake dope. The juggling I bought was Buddha. I didn't know. This is my first time. I'm green. But guess what? I already sold 20. So I already got my $20 back. So by the end of the night, I realized that this shit kind of looked like wax. I ended up having to sell it for like $10. So I made $30 my first day. Weird, right? But this process went on and on and on. You going through trial and error. And that's how I got introduced to selling crack, man. It was that easy. And I know right now today, it's a lot of young kids out there right now, young men out there, probably getting introduced to drugs, selling the same type of way, just by being around people in the neighborhood, in the environment, and it just happens like that. Or scamming. I don't really know what they're doing out there right now. I think most of them scamming. And if they're out there in the dope game, I know it ain't how it was when I came up, but So after that, years go by, and you start seeing different things. You start elevating. You start to want to get packs. And back then, a pack was 8 20s for 100. Now, in the beginning, it was 10 for 100. Back in the days, when you buying packs, you used to get 10 20s for $100. Automatically, you're going to make $200 off that. It was so much competition. Then some type of way, somebody broke it down to 8 for 100. I don't know who was the person that came up to get 8 20s for $100. But some type of way, that became the universal code of what a pack was. 8 20s for 100. And I don't know still to this day, where did that terminology come up from? Because I remember when you were getting 10 for 100. I remember some guy used to give you 12 for 100. But all of a sudden, that got broke down to 8 for 100. And that was the standard way of selling dope in Tampa. Now, in St. Pete, it was different. Other places, it was different. But in the city of Tampa, the regulation for a $100 pack was 8 for 100. In the early 80s, early 90s, 10 for 100. It used to be 10 for 100, and then some type of way it broke up and it started just becoming 8 for 100. I don't know where that came from, But that's the standard. That's been the standard for a long time. Now, like I say, packs was you getting 8 block 20s in a pack. That's $100 worth. You invest 100, you're supposed to make 180, 160. You make $160. So basically you're making $60 profit by investing $100. You got to do this over and over and over again. So if you been and sold 10 packs in a day, you done made a $600 profit. Basically. You know what I'm saying? Because you spending 100, going to get another, spending 100, going to get another one. And every time you're doing, you profiting 60. You profiting 60. You have to do that 10 times to have a $600 profit. You know, what dude was doing once they get up like $500, they'll go try and get 6 for $5, 6 packs for $500. That's the standard. That was the standard in Tampa. I don't know about nowhere else, but I'm telling you, in Tampa, that was the standard. You're trying to get 6 packs for $500. Now you spending $500 instead of you just buying 5 packs. You would get 1 extra pack because you come in with a $500 plate. And normally you go take that to the pack man. See, in Miami, they had a bomb man. In Tampa, they had a pack man. You do a flat foot hustling. That means you on the corner selling your own work that you don't bought, and you can sell it in the neighborhood. Or you can go to the pack man, and he may be somebody in the neighborhood that's dealing with somebody else who's breaking him off packs. And now he got packs in the hood, and he's selling packs to everybody who want to buy packs. I went through all them stages, from being a flat foot hustler, selling packs for somebody. I used to be the first person that gave me a job selling packs was Toby. One of the homies, Toby. He was the first person to actually give me some packs to sell. And they taught me how to sell packs. You know, the good thing about selling packs, you can be on the block, you can sell singles, and you can sell packs so you can make a little extra money. So you got the packs, and you can sell the singles at the same time. You see? So it's a little different. It gave you a little bit more play. I remember dudes used to come through, man. A dude back in the day named Sharon. Man, I remember he came through the hood one day, man. And he said, man, y'all want some packs? And we were like, yeah. Man, dude had blocks so big, right? He couldn't even put 4 of them in a pack. They were so big. Dude had blocks where you can cut them 2 or 3 times. If you spend $100 with him, you may make $150, $300. The block was so big. Dude was looking for guys like that. And this how it was. See, Tampa, dudes used to just ride through with packs. They may come through a dope store. Hey, man, y'all want some packs? Yeah, dudes come out there and he sell packs. He don't even got to know y'all. He just going to pull up and say, y'all want some packs. You got block packs, dudes going to buy them. Now, some dudes got robbed like that, of course. Shit like that went on. But, you know, this was the game back then. This the way it was operating back then. You know? That was some of my things that I remember coming up, and that's how it was, you know. And I think during that time when Sharon them had all that work, I think Joe Campbell was one of the main suppliers of Buddy with all that work, because they had that work back then. Joe Campbell was one of the main, I don't have a magazine in here right now, but him and them All-Bear boys out of West Tampa, they were some of the big hitters back in the days. During the early 80s, late 80s, they were some of the major players that had a lot of work out there. And that's when I'm a shorty, you know. Let's see what else. All right, so we done went through the 80s and the 90s. Now in the 90s, a lot of them guys that had that flavor, all that power in the 80s, like you say, like my homo Vela say, the OGs had to start taking a fall because they had been in the street longer, their name was ringing harder, and the feds and the government was looking for guys like that to fill up the federal prisons. We was the younger generation that were going to take their place once these guys were removed off the streets. This is how the system is set up. But we couldn't see that back then. Only thing we just know, we elevating, but we really putting ourselves in position to follow right behind our predecessors. Now, do what you got to realize. When you jump out there in the streets, You got to realize you following the same pattern of your predecessor. So whoever before you, you might get the same fate or even worse. We don't know that when we're jumping out there in the streets. We just think we're making money. We think we're doing the right thing. And we're really setting ourselves up for disaster. All right? So when I share these videos with y'all, it's not to glamorize selling drugs. It's basically to dig deep into it so you can understand the consequences of your actions, and just so you can kind of learn from my mistakes and others, so you don't have to make those mistakes. I mean, we all know a lot of y'all gonna do what you're gonna do, and I'm not telling you not to do nothing. I'm just trying to explain to you that it is consequences for your action. The longer you out there, and the more hate you get around you, and people start falling. Look at Young Thug. Look at Young Thug. Look at everybody that you know that was a dope boy, a big time dope boy in your city, not just mine, in your city, in your state. He locked up doing time, hella time, right or wrong. All right then. All right then. Y'all know I ain't lying. I'm just sharing a little light on how I got in the game. You know, how I elevated to the point to where I got caught up in a RICO case. And they had me labeled as the kingpin. You know, they had me right up under the Colombian cartel as the second in command. You know, they were trying to give me 30 years for a racketeering charge. Said that I was supplying tons of cocaine from 1991 all the way up to 99, which was a damn lie. Because I know y'all wasn't investigating me in them 91. You see, once you get all your paperwork, you realize it's a damn lie. They are guessing this is what's going on. They assume this is what's going on. And they try and pile up all these drug amounts on you just to make your case look worse in front of the jury so they can give you more time. I ain't the only one that experienced it. And you see what's going on right now with Young Thug and anybody else. They will add up that shit on that paperwork. They'll get that paperwork and they'll put, okay, well, he bought 2 keys. Okay, now we're going to say he bought 20 keys. You see? They elevate your drug quantity. You got to be careful out there. Because the longer you're in the streets, it gives them people more ammunition to lay your ass down for a long time. So that's why I share these stories with you guys.
From to answer that, give it to him. Give it to him. Boy, listen, boy, if you ain't really living by that image, don't paint it like that. Because when they take your picture that you painted and put it in court and that jury look at it, that's how you look. Mm-hmm. That's you. That's...
All right, so we done went through the packs, you know, Pac-Man. So you start off as a flat-foot hustler. Then you go from flat-foot hustler, you go to selling pikes. Then you go from selling pikes to buying you some weight, maybe buying you a couple of ounces. Then you go from buying you ounces, you go to buying half of 1.2s. You know, that's half of 2 ounces and a quarter. Then you go from getting half of 1.2s to a 125, from a 125 to a quarter brick, from a quarter brick to a half a brick, and you keep elevating, boom, boom, boom. These are the steps that you take to come up in the game. When I was coming up. But in order to do that, you got to do good business along the way. But like I say, when you start elevating and getting them half of keys and them bricks and them keys and it start adding up, that time start adding up too now. See, I learned very early that you can go to prison for a long time. I seen them people get Boss Hall 50 years, and this was in 1986. I was in the 7th grade. I remember reading in the newspaper Boss Hall got sentenced to 50 years in the feds for being a kingpin in our neighborhood. So I learned early that you can go to jail for a long, long, long time. You know. Who was one of the original hustlers in Melville?
Clifford, the boss. Let me tell you about the boss. Man, that big got a Cadillac, brand new Cadillac every year, other year, since the 70s, all the way up to the 90s for them crackers getting 50 years. The boss hall. Had houses all through the neighborhood, everything. A nigga that was, and get how he got his money. Weed. Until the 80s came. You know what came in the 80s? Them Colombians. I went even much out of high school, yeah, man. I was serving bricks.
I'm gonna tell you about Boss Home. It was before scale, but when one dime was one finger and another dime was two fingers. That's how you ain't have no scale of where you pack it. Some came by boat, some came by plane, some came by rig. Boss was in all of it. Boss did his thing. Vice was created by Boss.
Like the West Coast, we had our own Boss.
We 13. He turned the corner over us after 6 o'clock. Had a white girl laying down suntan and circle the block. That was the main thing. When they come to cop, circle the block. This go way back. He was the original. He was the best ever did it. Then we got Pop Glenn on the other side doing the boy Heron and all that thing he did. All these characters died trying to provide for their family, trying to do what they supposed to do. And all us could do nothing but look at them and see how they represented both of us. The hood, the whites, the blacks. They was go-getters.
I'm gonna dig back into this video, man. It's just a little information on me in the city of Tampa, how we were structured back then. But once again, man, hit like, follow, subscribe, share, hit the notification button. And if you got a loved one doing time in prison, you send them a copy of Street Elements magazine, the #1 magazine publication in the nation. In the nation. I'm gonna follow back up, man. I'm gonna show you guys how I end up getting my first real connect. You know, during this time, I got a couple of Colombian connects, and my last Colombian connect was really like that. You know, so I'm gonna share that story with you guys, man. Y'all stay in tune, and we're gonna top it up next time. Make it happen, or you capping.
I don't know who need to hear this here, but I ain't got no sympathy for you, nigga. I ain't got no sympathy for you at all, nigga, cause you done laid on that bump, nigga. You done wore them shackles, nigga. You know how I feel to be wrote off, man. Nigga, hug your motherfucking self, nigga, and get up. Get up, nigga. Don't nobody owe you nothing. The world don't owe you nothing, nigga. If anything, they gonna open that motherfucking and kick you back in that pit of hell, nigga. You better tighten up, my nigga, and realize, my nigga. I don't know who need to hear this.